Welcome to the Zapata brand. And now, your host, George Zapata.
Some of your subscribers have asked me a lot of questions. They came in and commented, and I just want to make sure we can get those out of the way here.
Shoot.
Okay, so you were talking about how you ran shows. And I have a guy at Argentino Brie. It looks like at Argentino Brie. He says he wants to know, he is transitioning from a bodybuilder to promoter. He wants to know if you had any tips on how to go from there to becoming a promoter, and if there's anything that you would say, what's it like on the promotional side as opposed to the bodybuilding side?
Okay, the promotion side, if you can make money. In the bodybuilding side, unless you're top pro bodybuilder, you're not going to make money. You know, I'm talking about from the sport. I would say the only way to really get into being promoting is you got to jump right into it. You have to find who your the district, your district, whoever's the commissioners of that district that you live in. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And you go to him, and you're gonna have to put down money, and you get a venue and promote a show. That's how, because then you're gonna meet people, and that's how you got to do it. It's the only way. Or you can try to get involved by saying to, you got to go to the district chairman. They're called, really, district chairman. You only want to go to IFBB or NPC. Anything else outside of that is just useless. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So you'd have to go to the district chairman. You find out who the district chairman is where you live, and you could ask him about promoting a show. Because you have to get sanctioned, and you have to pay for all that. You know what I'm saying? And you can't do it without them. So you have to go to them first. I was with the New York metropolitan area, which is the New York City area, and I was with the NPC when they first started, and it was Carl Campagna was the district chairman who I had to answer to, and eventually, we had a big fight and everything, but then eventually Steve Weinberger came in, but I was there before Steve Weinberger. As a matter of fact, one of the shows that Weinberger runs was once my show. The Atlantic states, I used to run the northern states. I used to run all those for the NPC. They were my shows.
So So you're saying the transition going over? What would be your?
The transition would be you have to get involved by going to the district. You can't just run a show. Even if you said, I don't care if your brother owns like a theater which seats thousands of people and says, I'm going to give you this theater. We can run it right here. You can have the location, you can have everything, but if you don't have the sanction, you understand? They sanction you. You have to go to the district chairman and say, how much is it going to cost me to run a show? Or you can ask him, how can I get involved? And they're going to, I would like to be involved. They'll make you start out as you're going to have to pay dues to the.
So you're going to be a Momo.
Right, you're going to be a Momo first. Like, hey, dude, go clean the bathroom. We're going to, we need somebody to watch that exit door. That's how, if you're going to get involved. So I would recommend, if you really want to jump in. Go right to your district chairman and say, I'd like to promote an NPC show. They're going to ask you, do you have any, background in this? I got in it at a time where you didn't need any background. I don't think that they're going to ask, if you listen, money talks. You say, listen, I'll buy a sanction right now. I'll buy I'll get a venue. I'll do all that shit. They're all ears to that because it's all about the shkado. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's the only way.
Okay.
Otherwise, you're going to be nowhere with that.
Okay. Good. Now we have at Michael Rea 9593. He said, did you ever make it to Vince Gajoria's gym in California? Gironda in California. And what do you think about his training habits, and what did you observe about his diet habits?
Vince Gironda was a mad scientist genius. He was very good. I've never been to his gym. Now, my boy Bob Bonham, who passed away, used to train at his gym when he was young. And I know that Vince was a lunatic. He had his own way of thinking. I trained under one of Arthur Jones, who invented Nautilus and everything, and the Nautilus system and the whole bit. I trained under one of his disciples, one of his people that he directly trained and taught and everything, and I trained under his tutelage, and he was brutal. You understand?
Well, when you say mad scientist, you mean chemicals or
Yeah,
how
a
we
little
train?
bit of like training nutrition, drink of a little bit of olive oil, and then do this and that, like crazy things. To training more than anything, like he would don't squat. If I catch you squatting, I'll throw you out of the gym. Like,
Where do you come up with these?
these are his like philosophy. Squatting builds only the ass, so you should never squat. Like he believes shit like that. You know what I'm saying? He had his own ways about him, and I don't like that. And
Was it
that's what I. Well, to an extent, yeah. I mean, he's a legend, you know what I mean? But you had to follow his way. That's what I was trying to tell you about. That's why I was thinking, why the fuck did I bring up watch my language, I'm sorry. Why did I bring up Arthur Jones? And it just hit me. Because Arthur Jones believed in only his way. When I worked with this guy named Bob Baff, he was Arthur Jones' disciple, was learned from Arthur Jones and Arthur Jones' way, and then, from back in like 1970, whatever it was. And he would have you do one set to extreme failure. This was Arthur Jones' theory. One set. But one set could take you 5 minutes. It was the worst. I mean, you felt like you wanted to puke, shit, fart, everything all at once in the middle. I mean, it was brutal. It was brutal. You know what I'm saying? And that was the one set to extreme failure. And now you couldn't train any other way. If you went in that gym and you did like 3 sets on the Nautilus machine, he'd be like, "Hey, you did one set." That was it. He would get insane. So who wants a trainer that? Vince Gironda was known for throwing guys out of the gym. I liked Vince. I've met Vince in person. I have pictures with Vince, but Vince was too much stuck in his own way, and I don't believe anybody has the recipe for anything. You know what I mean? There's guys in baseball that stand with lean over the plate when they, bat. There's other guys that stand with 1 foot back and take a step forward. Who's this? You can't tell a guy, no, don't do that. Don't have a hitch in your swing. You take that out, and now he can't hit. Everybody's different. Do you understand? So you can't, Vince Gironda would punish you for that. No, you're squatting. That builds big ass. Get out. You know what I mean?
Not a good way to hold
Right.
memberships.
It's not good. Same thing with Arthur Jones. You can't do, you're doing sats on an Nautilus machine. Are you crazy? Get out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, next question. It's at Dan Iceman 8277. What was the best time in your life, one? And number two, what motivated you to be who you are today? So best time of your life. And then two, what motivated you to be who you are today?
I just want to say hello to Dan. Dan's my boy, Dan the Iceman. I know Dan. I don't know him personally, but I've interacted with him. Okay, best time of my life. I mean, actually, having my children really was the greatest time of my life. And I'm not just saying that. Oh, okay, that's like a generic thing, having your children, the birth of your children. But it's the truth. You know what I mean? My daughter sticking with me through the divorce. My son turned against me, but my daughter did not. You know what I mean? It was like a lot of stuff like that. I mean, those were the things. And being, a father, I mean, I was like definitely, like involved in everything my daughter and my son did. But, my son stopped seeing me because we got divorced at 10 years old. You know what I mean? So he was like really hurt by it. My daughter was younger, so she didn't feel the effects as much. And, my son, because I was my son's best friend. And now I'm out of his life because, he didn't want me back. He was trying to punish me. I'm mad at you.
Yeah.
You did that to mom, and you and mom broke up, and I'm mad at you. You know what I mean? So that hurt me. But what I'm saying is that if you're asking me, I'm the kind of guy that, dude, I'm like, life's like a carnival. You know what I mean? I want to go on every ride and play every game until that carnival closes one day. But I wanted to say on my gravestone, here lies a man who lived. Do you understand? So every day I try to come up with new things. Like I'm a happy guy. You know what I mean? I don't let things get to me. So when you ask me what was the happiest time of my life, I mean, there's a gazillion things. I mean, when my grandmothers were alive, or when my father was alive, my mother was alive. What was the second part to that question?
He said, what motivated you to be who you are to be now? What made you the man you are today?
I would have to say it's my father.
Yeah.
My father was a great role model. I told you I got emotional times before.
So I mean, was it he motivated you because you wanted to show him, to make him proud of you?
No, He motivated because I wanted to be just like him.
Okay.
I saw the way he was with people. He didn't give two shits. If we were in a store, and even if he heard a bunch of kids cursing and it was an older woman over there, he'd say, "Hey," and he didn't care if those kids would say "F you" to him. They didn't do it. I don't know why. They knew. My father was the kind of guy.
He didn't play games.
He would look at them and he'd say, if they tried to do something, he would back it up. My father could back it up. That's the whole thing. But he knew. It wasn't a prick. He was just very, he was a man's man.
Okay, good. And now we have 007 Mr. Big, Mr. Big. He said that you had surgery not too long ago. He said, how are you feeling after your surgery?
I think he's talking about my throat surgery.
I believe he is, yes.
Yeah, no, I'm doing really good, knock on fake wood.
No, this shit's real.
Oh, Tom, sorry.
This is real.
Fake, real wood. Fake wood, whatever. I was making a joke. I'm doing much better, thank God, the throat surgery, it was a strange thing. I went to the doctor. See, when I was a kid, I always had tonsillitis, always. It was one of those, the tonsillitis. And, as I got older, believe it or not, this is going to sound crazy. Cover your ears with this. Steroids actually bolstered my immune system. I know it's supposed to be the opposite way, but it didn't. When I started taking steroids, after 23 years, to training natural, all of a sudden, I stopped getting colds. I stopped getting sick. Like, when I was younger, it gets bad backs, you know what I mean? I'd get the throat, whatever, because, the tonsillitis all the time, right? So now I got tonsil. I never got it after that. Fast forward, now all of a sudden, I notice one day, I'm like, my tonsils feel weird, So I look in my throat, and I actually see a growth. An actual growth, almost like a peanut or something, growing off on the side of my throat, right where the tonsils. And I go to my doctor, and she goes to me, I think you have tonsillitis. And I'm like, I don't know about that, man. I've had tonsillitis my whole life, and there's like a growth in my throat, man. I don't know. It just doesn't feel like tonsillitis. I've always got, you have tonsillitis. So she gave me antibiotics, and then she gave me prednisone, and nothing worked, right? So then she goes, oh my God. She looks down my throat, right? She goes, oh my God, I'm so sorry. She goes, excuse me, sorry. That's the Diet Coke. Sorry. I'm a menagerie. Wait till you watch this video, half the stuff. Anyway, you should keep all that in, don't cut it out. People like that. It's not, Anyway, so, she's like, oh my God, I see that. I'm sorry I missed it. And I go, like this. She didn't see the growth in my throat. She was just not listening to me. So she goes, I got to do, we're going to have to cut that out of you, and we're going to have to see.
She did a biopsy.
Right. She goes, we're going to do a biopsy. She goes, I don't think it's cancerous, though. I say, sure, it's not cancer. No, that's 90. She goes, I'm 90-something% sure, whatever the number was. So we have the surgery, which is when I was supposed to do the Patrick Bet David show, who was, I know because the date was February 13th, 2020. I was supposed to do the Patrick Bet David show, so I put it off. I said, I can't go because I'm having a throat surgery. So I could do the throat surgery, and she goes, right to my girlfriend, good news. We got it. We got it all, and it's not cancerous. I'm like, oh, thank God. Oh, Week later, I go back to the office. She's checking on me. She goes, Greg, I'm really sorry. She goes, I got bad news. She goes, we didn't get it all, and it is cancerous. And I'm like, what does that mean? And she goes, that means I'm going to have to send you to another surgeon. And I go, oh, no. So Patrick, but David had wanted me to go again, in March. Now it was the beginning of March. He wanted me to go. I was like March 3rd or 4th, right on my girlfriend's birthday. I couldn't do it. Said I can't. I'm gonna have a second surgery. I can't do this. I mean, I just got. I'm still with the third, first surgery. Comes second surgery. I got to go down to Mount Sinai Hospital, and I get the top #1 surgeon. Google him, Dr. Eric Gendon, Genden. Mount Sinai. So I go to Dr. Gendon. He's the #1 surgeon. He goes, dude, I got to get that out of there. He goes, I got to get that out of there. That's cancer, and that's not good. Yeah. So we go in there. He takes everything out of my throat. I mean, he takes both tonsils out. It was only on one side. It was on this side. He cuts me. I don't know if you can see it anymore. He did a great job because when I first got out, I was cut from here all the way to here. I don't know if you can see it. There's a scar on here. It's
No, that's a good job.
If I show you in the light, you'll see it. Phenomenal job. The craziest thing is though, he had to kill all the nurses. Now wait, he also took out my lymph nodes in here. Okay, so he took out my lymph nodes. He took out muscles in my throat, so when I swallow, it doesn't swallow through right. My little punching bag that you get that's in the middle of the uvula is now kind of to the right. It's not like in the middle anymore. Because he had to take all this shit out, all muscles and meat and shit out of the throat. But now I'm good, right? And I was in there for like 4 or 5 days. And that's the day. That was March 17th, 2020. And that's when Trump shut down because of COVID. And so it was the hospital. I'm in New York City hospital now. And it's a madhouse. I mean, nurses are around. We got no more. Oh my God, where's masks? No more masks. They're like, it was insanity. Everybody was in a hospital. Nobody wanted to get away from me. Don't talk to me. Like they were crazy. And I'm stuck in here for like a bunch of, for 4 or 5 days. Come out and my daughter comes to pick me up. My daughter fights MMA, right? So my daughter comes with my girlfriend. They come to pick me up at the hospital. The guy's like wheeling me out. It's like I'm not supposed to go outside. Can you just walk the rest of the way? Because of the COVID, it was like people running around like this is New York City, so you can imagine it's a madhouse, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, don't worry about it. I walk out myself. So I walk out, people outside just fucking scurrying, running around. I get my daughter's car. This is Mount Sinai. We drive down 2 blocks. All of a sudden, we're at a light. It's us, here, car, and a car. And these savages come running out from the corner of a building, right? And start jumping on cars. There were all these like kids, from all over the place. They're not little kids, like 15, 16 backpacks, jumping on cars, because now the city's a madhouse.
Yeah.
So my daughter, the guy goes on, rides his bike right up onto my daughter's, I'm keep hitting this thing, rides her bike right onto my daughter's car, in the front of the car, right? And my daughter's like, I'm going to get out, I'm going to fuck him up. And I'm like, what are you, crazy? I'm cut from here to here, I'm bandaged, stitched, everything, and stitched down my throat. I can't even swallow water, I can't be fighting. Luckily, what saved our ass was this car here, the next car, right, next to us, this car, started to be panic, and they started to drive through all those kids. Like not running them over, but like running into them.
Yeah.
And they all got psycho, so they jumped off our car onto their car. And then my daughter gunned it, and we got out of there. So now I'm sitting at home a couple days later. All of a sudden, I feel this warm, feeling in my mouth. I'm like, what the hell? Thank you. What the hell is this? And all of a sudden, I blood just starts pouring out of my mouth, right? And what happened was, I guess, my thing blew open in my throat.
Ooh.
And this was bad. This was really bad, because what was happening was they took me to the emergency room. Now it's it's chaos. Now it's now you're at the end of March 2020, and it's absolute madness. Might have been May 1st or something like that. And I'm down, and the blood is just fucking, and it's clogging my throat. It's closed because it's coagulating, right?
Yeah.
So it's closing up my throat hole. So I'm actually reaching in, and pulling out lumps of what looks like liver, like big, like this. And the hospital, one of the hospital nurses was a guy, and he's like this. And he said to me, dude, I've seen people, like, their heads are open, guts are open, but this is really, because I'm pulling, I can't breathe. It's choking me. It's closing up my throat hole. And chunks of liver, I had blood all over my face, all over me, everywhere. It just would not stop bleeding. They could not stop the bleeding. So they go, we're going to have to knock you out and bring you to another hospital. So they knock me out, right? And they bring me to this hospital. And remember, it's chaos. Mm-hmm. I'm in the hospital. I don't remember, because I'm under anesthesia, so I'm knocked out. The only thing I remember is I don't know where I was when this happened. I don't know if I was in the operating room. I don't know if I was before the operating room or just out of the operating room. All I know is I woke up out of anesthesia. Okay. And, so the blood's I'm coagulating, like really killing me. I can't breathe. Right. So they knock me out. I go there. I'm in this room, and I don't know. All I know is I'm paralyzed, right? And I open my eyes, and you're scared shit. Do you know what that's like, being paralyzed? You're under anesthesia, and you wake up. I'm waking up under this anesthesia.
Right.
And I remember the nurse, my one leg was, I guess, slightly off the gurney. Just this leg was, is slightly off, right? And the nurse goes, his foot is off the bed. His foot is off the bed. And the other nurse goes, don't worry, I got him paralyzed. He's not going nowhere. Now, for me to hear this shit is like, no, I don't think they knew that I was awake for that. But God did me a favor, and I went back and I went out. Next thing I know, I wake up, and I'm tied down, right? And I wake up, and I'm tied down, and now I'm in ICU. And I'm tied down. My arms are tied. Now, I get tubes down my throat, right? And I'm trying to motion to her. And she's like, what do you want? What's the matter, And I'm like, with my fingers, I'm pointing like this. Like, get the fucking tubes out of my throat. Excuse me. Right? So she's like, oh, you want the tubes out of you? And she's like, we got to leave those in there, honey. You can't breathe. And I'm like, and I'm freaking out. I'm sweating, and I'm like going crazy, and get to the fuck. These guys, the male nurses are coming in, and they're talking, and they're all looking at me. So now I'm panicking, and there's a clock right there. So I'm here, and I can actually see the clock. And I know this is going to sound really crazy, and there's people who don't believe in this, but I do. Okay. You see, I wear rosary beads, right? I always have them on. These are the same rosary beads I always use. Anyway, so I have rosary beads, and I'm actually asking, Mary, Mother of God, I'm saying, please help me. You know what I mean? And I start saying some Hail Marys, and I said, please find a way to get me out of this, because this is bad. I was afraid I was dying and stuff, And all of a sudden, I'm getting upset, and I move, and I start choking, right? Like I'm going to puke, right? And the next thing you know, I'm standing up. I'm off the bed. Holy shit. I must have choked, like... And when I did that, I sat up and I didn't do it purposely, like, watch this, I'm going to break the rein. I wasn't like Hercules where I was going to try to snap the reins and shit like that. But I did. I snapped the reins, but I didn't do it purposely. I was choking, and I must have done it all in one motion. And I realized I'm standing up off the bed, and I'm like, holy shit. So I hear them coming. She goes, he's off the bed. So I grab the friggin' pipes, and I pull them out of my throat, and I throw them on the ground, right? And I tell them, I can breathe. I go, look at me. I'm breathing on my own. I don't need that fucking thing. Don't give me that again. I was freaking out. And they were like, stop. We're sorry. Okay, we won't put it back in. We won't put it back in. Now I'm laying there. And I'm like, thank you, God. I'm looking at Jesus Christ. I'm looking at the clock, and it's like 5 minutes after I asked God to help me, And I'm sitting there, and, I'm thinking, holy shit, do my family know where I am? Because nobody knows where the fuck I am. So I said to the nurse, has my family called? And they're like, well, we don't know. We haven't talked to anybody. And I'm like, well, can I get a phone? You know what I mean? Where's my phone? Yeah. So, I had a flip phone. So they come over, they bring me this phone. It's a freaking push button phone. I call my family. She answers the phone. My girlfriend's in the next room. And they were like, oh my God, thank God you're alive. We didn't know where you were. You know what I mean? Because they had brought me a day or two ago. I was under all that time. They had brought me a day or two ago to another hospital. And now I'm in this hospital here. They transferred me. And when they would call up, they go, we don't know where he is. We have no idea because of COVID. You got to understand that everything's a little bit crazy now. Dude, you're missing you're missing him. We're missing. You will find him. Relax. They had no idea where the hell I was. So my girlfriend goes, you gotta get out of there. Get out of there. They're gonna kill you there. So I tell them, look, I want to get out of here. That's it. I want to get out of here. And they said, you can't leave. And I said, you cannot keep me. You cannot keep me against my will. I said, I'm leaving. I said, I'll get out of here. I had no clothes on. I just had a gown. I said, I'll walk out of here stark naked. You know I will. If I pull those pipes out. And then one of the guys who's like an orderly or whatever, he's an older black man's like, he's trying to call the shots. Don't listen to him. He has some nerve. I don't know who he thinks he is. And I'm like, dude, shut up. You know what I mean? I'm getting out of here. I told them I want out. They're like, don't get up and leave because you have that pipe in your penis. You know what I mean? I get the thing in my friggin' ugats down there. And they're like, if you try to pull that out, you're going to pull out half your guts with it, So I'm like, Well, get it out. I don't want no friggin' pipe in my dick, you know? So they take it out, right? And I said, okay, I'm leaving. And they're like, you can't just leave. And I said, get a doctor here. You're not holding me against my will. So they bring a doctor in. I said, I'm fucking leaving. The doctor gives me this little speech. You're going to die at home. All that. I said, I don't care. Because my girlfriend goes, call me back as soon as, you know. And then my sister gets on the phone. My sister goes, does he have, you're giving him fluids? Because he, you know, we dropped him off like a day and a half ago. He hasn't had anything to eat or drink. And they're like, you know, she's saying that to them, but I'm right there. And I look down and I go, Jamie, that's my sister. I got no, I got 5 PICC lines, 3 in one arm, 2 in the other arm, but no, not one thing. So I'm getting no fluids, no nothing. You got nothing in these PICC lines, nothing. I'm out of here. I told him, I'm getting out of here. So my girlfriend goes, I'm coming down. My girlfriend comes down. It's like 3 a.m. You know what I mean? And they were against their will. They were all freaking out, pissed off, and everything. And I got out of there. But if I would have stayed there, I remember seeing a little boy who was young. You know, he might have been 10, 11, 12. You know, he was a little bit younger than your boy. And they were pushing him in a gurney in there. And I felt so because he had old pipes down at him. And, you know, it was chaos because of COVID. They lost my clothes. They lost everything. They had no, dude, my girlfriend had to bring clothes down. I had no clothes. They lost my wallet. They lost everything. No idea who I was or any of that shit. And you had to see, everybody was so scared of everybody because it's COVID. You know what I mean? Stay away from me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it was like sick. So that was really bad.
Okay. So what I wanted to do now is go over something that you're well known for.
Okay.
Is a story that's out there, and it's a great story.
Uh-oh.
And it involves Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Well, that wraps up part 4 of the Greg Valentino interview series here on the Zapata Brand podcast. Coming up next is the 5th and final part. This is the one where I asked him about the A-list star that he got into a fight with in the limelight in New York City. So sit back and relax. Enjoy the next part.
This is Beyond the Ropes with the Zapata Brand podcast. And here are the Greg V deleted scenes.
Okay, one of the things I forgot to show Joe was right here. You see this? So I sleep with this. I push this button right here. Okay, this is because the TV, I have a shirt on because the TV, I don't want the light, you know, I can't sleep with the light, but I do sleep with the noise, right? This is there, see? All right, and then I'll come over here, and on my night table, I put on that. And then there's one on my girlfriend's side of the bed. And here's the turtles. Look, you see, there's the basking. There they are. The water's clean. Look, they'll follow me. Look. They follow wherever I go. See? They're following my finger. Ready? Watch. They'll follow me. Come on. See? They're following my finger. They follow wherever I go. Look, watch, see? Because they're like dogs. They know when they're going to get fed and everything. That's my big turtles. They're actually pretty big. And that's where they bask. And I just did the show with Joe Zapata. Just did the show with Dave Palumbo. I was telling Dave about that the water was green because we just feed them. As soon as I feed them, if I feed them lettuce or stuff like that, the water gets really green. Okay, usually I'll throw fish in there, I'll throw shrimp. But if I feed them with lettuce, which I do, I throw a whole head of lettuce in there, they devour a whole head of lettuce, the water gets green immediately. It's crazy. Anyway, that's my turtles. These are my turtles. Look, they're like dogs. Like, they'll follow me around. See, look, they'll follow my hand because they think they're gonna get food. Look, watch. Look. Hey, see? They follow me around. If I go this way, watch. Now they're gonna go this way. See? They follow my hand because they think they're gonna get food. These turtles, they think they're dogs. I had them since they were little. They're red air sliders. Dave Palumbo loves that. Anyway, Joe, all right.